New Zealand for the Chappell Hadlee Trophy. This is game 3 of 3. Yes, Australia have won it. It's heading home to Sydney tomorrow, or maybe to Melbourne, to ACB headquarters. But we have to say there's a lot of interest in this game still. There's some new faces on display, and whenever New Zealand play Australia, it's always keenly contested. The Black Caps haven't won one for a while, and that's got to start getting to the system after a certain period of time. That's Gary Baxter, is getting congratulations, the new ball handed to him. It's his one-day international debut, so nervous time I would imagine for him, and Alim Dar will be with him from the international panel at the other end. Daniel Vittori leads out the Black Caps, and a big day for him. Even though he's got Stephen Fleming in the side, he won't have him in the field to help him along. Fleming will stay off the park until the second innings. Lou Vincent, Astle, Marshall, Hamish Marshall, James is out today, Scott Storris, McMillan, Cairns Oram, McCullum, Vittori, Mills and Chris Martin into the side to take the new ball. Yes, Fleming is the super sub. And for Australia, a lot of familiar names as they make their way out, because we know that Brett Lee has gone back to Australia to have some surgery, minor surgery on a nasal passage. Kadich and Adam Gilchrist to open the batting, with Ponting at 3, then Hodge, Simons, Clark, Hussey White, Bracken, Stuart Clark, Michael Lewis, the hero from the other night, or one of the many, and Mitchell Johnson, a new boy on the block from Queensland, is the super sub. We shall see him later in the day. He's a specialist quick bowler. Well, rightio, it's a beautiful sight, I've got to say, from way upstairs here, and we're commentating from up in the gods today, and a couple of heavenly sporting voices to kick us off in the form of Michael Slater and Grant Nisbet.
Here we go, first ball then of the third one-dayer. Kyle Mills, the bowler. And a stop by Jacob Oram, no run taken. He's bowled very well in both games, particularly at the start of the game, Kyle Mills. He's been demanding. And an RPO there of 4.66. Jeremy Coney felt at the pitch report that there might be a little movement early on. And there's Gilchrist going after it, and drifting away into the gloves of Brendan McCullum.
Yeah, this might be the seam that Jeremy Coney was talking about. It just goes on. Might have left Gilchrist slightly, but kept going on the angle, and it looked like it really did accelerate off the pitch, which is a good sign for the new ball bowlers. And some heavy grass cover. That was the other reference that Jerry made, was that it's solid grass, old and new, and that could accelerate the pace of the bounce, or not accelerate it, just allow it to maintain pace.
Pretty close and given. Gary Baxter in his first one-dayer has got the finger up. Gilchrist goes early again.
Well, I think it was a pretty easy one to get first up. It looked plumb. Straight in, knee roll, rocking back middle stump if it didn't hit the pad. And more disappointment for Adam Gilchrist on this tour. That's 2 ducks in a row down here in Christchurch. He'll be upset with that. It's 0 for 1.
Australian captain Ricky Ponting in the first over with the dismissal of Gilchrist, and a vastly experienced player. And Michael is not far away from being Australia's highest ever run scorer. 78 he needs today, and that would allow him to surpass Mark Waugh to be top of the tree. Mark Waugh sitting on 8,500 one-day international runs, so it could be today. Oh, he squirts it away on the onside. He's unsure really where that had gone, but he's underway, Ponting. And let's go back and revisit the wicket. Not much doubt about this.
Not at all. It was swing, good swing, and always difficult when you're facing the new ball. If one is on the money and swings back, and you haven't really got settled.
There's a hell of a lot to be said for being an opening batsman, I guess. You don't have to sit and wait very long. Now Chris Martin. Oh, that's beautifully taken. Scott Storris has sneered into second slip, and Chris Martin, good bowling to left-handers, and he's proved proved that just there.
Well, simply outstanding from Styrus. This is that movement away from the left-hander. That's why he's effective, Martin, against them. But look at the movement, the technique of the catch, watching the ball right into the hands, and finally he rolls. But he kept himself on his feet and that balance right through the catch. It's a terrific start again for New Zealand. Can they keep motoring on at 7 for 2?
So Brad Hodge comes to the crease in place of Simon Kadich, just in his third match. Made his debut in Auckland 7 days ago, and here he is now facing Chris Martin. Oh, that's a good shot, and a shot at the stumps, a brilliant piece of fielding. Good cricket all round, but Hamish Marshall caused real consternation amongst the two Australian batsmen. They were going to go. Suddenly, it was brilliantly fielded.
A big mix-up because of the brilliance there. Brad Hodge was stuck watching the ball, saw it reeled in, and then said no or hesitated. Ricky Ponting in the end coming to the danger end. So it is a nervy start to Hodge. He's got the single he wanted just to settle his nerves slightly. New Zealand here have started so well. And as we've seen in the two opening games, that got to maintain the pressure. The swinging ball, that's what was the undoing of Simon Kadich, who ended up just poking at it. He got lured into the ball and then it moved. It kept moving.
Oh, beautiful shot. Mills just going down leg side, and Hodge has helped himself to a boundary. Backward of square.
That one not swinging for Mills, and that's why it slides to the leg stump. That is the trappings of swing bowling in a way. When it goes, it's great and very hard to bat against, but when it doesn't move, you can get a nice juicy one on your legs. The latter end of the 50 overs.
Oh, lovely stroke. Beautiful shot. Over toss from Mills. Hodge cashing in, and it's 24 for 2 at the end of the over.
Oh, that could be down. It is, in fact. Now, the question is, was it off the pad or was it off the bat? McCullum going the wrong way. Was this off the edge of the bat of Ricky Ponting?
It's a definite edge there, and that is a huge miss. You're just saying, Smithy, that New Zealand needs to continue to take wickets, to continue to strike. McCullum wrong-footed himself, going with the swing, and then came the edge.
The reaction was so muted, really, that I thought it might have come off the pad. Great shot from Hodge. He looks a good player off the front foot. He really does.
Hodge starting to warm to his task here, batting in the middle of this Australian order. He does look very, very strong and simple.
Great shot again. And there's so many raps about Brad Hodge. You know, there's so much talk about how good he is, but you don't believe it until you've seen him in action. And all of a sudden, in 2 shots, I've seen it.
New Zealand bowlers need to find the right line and the right length and consistently against Hodge. He looks so strong on the front foot. Every time he's been given the opportunity to drive, he's hit the ball right in the middle of the bat and into the gap.
But when you haven't won a game of cricket for quite a while, even if you've played 150, 200 games, you start to wonder about points in the match and you think, here we go again. Now, I repeat, Astle at Eden Park, Cairns in Wellington, McCullum at Christchurch. 3 very experienced players, but you start to wonder if it's going to be another one of those days. Oh, that's a lovely shot. That's just caressed, and Chris Cairns can get nowhere near it at third man. That's vintage.
Sometimes it only takes one great shot for things to turn around for a batsman. Ponting had been looking to go at the ball. This time he let it come to him. He let the ball come and he hit it underneath his eyes. And eased it away, used the pace, and that's beautifully timed.
That's over the top for 4 more. So all of a sudden, Ponting has cut loose. And the Black Caps now know they might be paying.
Danger time. Danger time for the Black Caps. They'd pegged Ponting back. You could tell he wanted to get after it. Lovely shot ball before. This time, a little bit of force in front of the wicket.
Cairns at third man, and quite a fine third man at that. Oh boy, and 4 more. Jacob Oram is a tall man and he has got a very long reach. He's acrobatic. I'm not sure that he got anything on that. It was close enough to him, but hit with real power again. Might have got it just a little nipper on it, did he?
There's 5 players protecting that shot on the offside.
Over the top for 4. This is Bradley Hodge, and he is looking really good today. It seems it's almost as if they pick a name out of the hat, the Australians, and it becomes your day.
Another slow ball by Cairns. He has to be careful here. He has been relying on his slow ball, and you just get the feeling that the Australian batsmen are up to it.
And that, I think, is going to race away for 4 more too. It wasn't perfectly played, but good enough in the terms of the end result. So the boundaries are coming thick and fast, and it's 62 for 2 all of a sudden. 4 more. No second slip in, so they pick up another boundary, the Australians. Ricky Ponting again.
Ponting's earned this little slice of luck. Styris standing very wide, almost at 1.5. Ponting had been aggressive. New Zealanders had no option but to take their catches out. Ponting's just ridden that one.
Well, that's beautifully played too. McMillan in pursuit of this. He's got no price getting it. It runs away for 4 more. So 14 overs gone here in Christchurch, and Australia have got it pretty much under control again at 73 for 2.
It allowed the Australians to gather the momentum.
Over the top. Ponting's, while he struggled a little bit in the initial periods of his innings today, he then went through a phase to try and hit himself out of trouble. When I say trouble, I mean it was difficulty with timing. Now seems to have settled upon a practice of hitting up and over. There's another one. 2 consecutive boundaries to finish the over. 12 from it from Cairns. 85 for 2.
That's a bad delivery again. It's gone the whole way. 6 runs to Ponting.
131 Ks just isn't quite quick enough, and it brings up Ponting's 50 as well with that boundary 6. So Ponting now 8 fours and 1 6. Had difficulty early on just getting the pace of this pitch. Doesn't seem a problem at this pace of Jacob Oram. That's another 6, I think. Has that cleared the road completely? Yes, it has. Just pivoting nicely. You'd have to say the ball was always slightly going down on that angle, and it's just assisted on its way.
Yes, it was, Jerry. And you just can't get into that sort of zone to Ricky Ponting. He's far too good a player. Just too short. And you just can't get into leg stump. It's just going to go. 61 now, the Australian captain.
Look at that partnership. It's 4.
Awful bit of fielding on the boundary from Chris Martin. Not sure he got a bad bounce. I think really he just got his feet all tied up here on the boundary. Strong shot from Ponting. Close look here. He didn't really look comfortable at any stage, did he?
I don't know whether he actually used his hands. I think it hit him on the knee in the end. Nor will that.
Oh boy, it's a tough old game, isn't it, Jacob Oram? He drops short, he's hit for 4, and misfield on the boundary. The next ball he pulls a good delivery out of the bag, got a bit of extra bounce, and spared through first slip for another boundary. Ponting into the 70s now, 74 off just 65 deliveries.
As he's bent his right through and he's got him. LBW Ponting. Vittori gets in.
Top work from the left arm spinner. He pushed that through a little quicker, 92 kilometres an hour. Another comfortable decision for the debut umpire, Gary Baxter. Good decision too, striking middle stump. A gem of an innings from Ricky Ponting. He's gone for 75. Black Caps pick up their third wicket, scores 122. Fresh from his scintillating innings at the stadium in Wellington, 156, Andrew Symonds strolls out to the crease with another good foundation in place from Australia. 122 for 3. 3,000 one-day international runs now for Symonds. And look at that strike rate. 90 runs for every 100 balls faced. Fantastic. And underway straight away too. Here's Ian Smith and Grant Nisbet.
Thanks, Gav. This is the delivery that got Ponting. Never much doubt about it. And Ponting, I don't think he bothered to look up. Gary Baxter's finger went up immediately. And lovely delivery from Daniel Vittori.
Catch it!
Symonds up and taken. The danger man is gone.
Well, this is brilliant captaincy because Daniel Vittori said to mid-on and mid-off, you come up. We'll challenge him early on in his innings. They've done just that. They're lucky they had a tall man at mid-off, but Vittori is delighted. A plan comes off. It's 124 for 4.
Michael Clark comes out to bat for Australia. The quick demise today of Andrew Symonds. And there is the signal. Immediately the power play is claimed. It's the last 5 overs. With the loss of 2 quick wickets, it was the right thing, of course, for Vittori to do. So here's Michael Clark, who was quite outstanding in Wellington the other night in association with Symonds. But he won't bat with them today as Oram starts a new over. And Hodge very much the senior partner now in this partnership. This is Symonds.
Well, he hit it well enough. He just didn't get the elevation. It was obvious he decided, well, I'm in. Good touch from Wellington. I don't need to bat myself in today because I think I'll just carry on. But Vittori, it was very clever that he brought mid-on and mid-off up.
It's a better looking shot off the back foot. And he's able to generate tremendous power as he punches it away through extra cover for a boundary. And it's 133 for 4.
One of the shots of the match, and boy, there's been some good ones. Tremendous how he just gets that power in there, brings the bat down. They say he's got great hand speed, this kid. And the way he gets the bat from its back lift to its follow through.
Too short. And that should go all the way. In fact, it will. Just let himself down there, Chris Cairns, because he was bowling pretty well up till that point.
Well, Kansas looked first of all at Daniel Vittori as if to say, well, is that guy in the right place? Because it looked to me as if he could cut that off. And in the end, that guy being Astle got nowhere near it.
Cairns again, it's in the air and just away.
he bowled the last man at slip. And now slip's going in. Looks like he might go in. And that would have gone straight down, first slip stroke. Styrus had sort of moved round to a gully position.
And there's a 50 for Brad Hodge. Made his debut just a week ago. Missed out in the first two games, but he's come to the party with 50.
That one will work for Michael Clark. That is a delicious off drive.
Well, we saw this man in great form at the stadium on Wednesday. Almost went unnoticed in a way as 82 not out in comparison to the bludgeoning innings of Andrew Simons. But I thought his 82 was just quite tremendous.
Vettori now bringing himself back into the attack. He's bowled 4 overs, 2 for 11. And he's replacing Chris Cairns, who's bowled 4 overs himself. Australian batsmen have huge respect for Vettori, and generally their objective is to get through the 10 overs and not allow him to get a wicket. Isolate the bowlers at the other end for the scoring. That'll be 4 runs. Very good sweep shot from Brad Hodge. He jumped on it.
Well, more class from Hodge. You really see this, Vettori drifting down leg. First ball of a new spell. Played it very, very well, didn't he? Very upright sort of sweep it was. Didn't get right down on that back knee. Oh, good shot, big and straight. That'll go the whole way. 6 runs, Michael Clark.
And it looked easy. We talk about you need a strong technique and good defensive play. Your attacking strokes are an extension, and that's a perfect example. He's just hit through the line of the ball, got it on the up, and it carries the rope. Really was a smart stroke there from Michael Clark. That'll be 4, very square there from Michael Clark. After the Brad Hodge sweep, the previous Vettori over, the man moved to a finer position. And so now he gets more bat on it. And 4 down for Australia. If they were 3 down, we might be able to use that equation. That one is an opportunity, taken comfortably in the deep. It's Mills again in the action, and a big wicket for the Black Caps. It's wickets that are going to stem the flow of runs.
Yes, this is a big moment. We've just been talking about it. The Black Caps needed a wicket. Scott Styrus has responded. It's back of a length, and Brad Hodge took on the boundary. He looked to put it big and over the top of Mills. He picked him out on the boundary, and the Australians are 5 down. Comfortable catch. Second catch for Kyle Mills today. Brad Hodge, first ODI 50 for him. He departs at 59. It's 177 for 5.
Tomorrow, it's action to the mat.
Of batting time on this tour. He does today. Phenomenal record to date. Many not outs. He's an excellent finisher and an average over 100. Another look at the wicket.
Yes, here it is. Scott Styrus short. It was an interesting shot to me, Brad Hodge. To me, he wasn't quite trying to clear the boundary for a big 6. Almost wanted to roll his wrist, didn't he? The intent was there to almost keep the ball on the ground. And the ball just hurried on a bit.
Good stroke, Clark. Fine leg up. Just too much leg side. Styrus knows it.
Yeah, Styrus annoyed himself here, and it was with fine leg up. It's an area where you cannot put the ball, and any batsman worth his salt will always put that away.
Yeah, maybe the left hand of Hussey playing a little bit in that delivery. Straight down the ground, Hussey. It starts with a 4.
Well, Cairns, who's struggling, he's been very expensive so far. This isn't going to help the confidence at all. Hussey's lined him up. Ball was in the slot, really. Good length, just outside off stump. That's a lovely shot, straight back over the bowler's head. Always a gap there.
Mills follows him and goes all the way to the boundary.
Well, here's the pressure of turning ones into twos. The pressure built on Mills here. Tried to spare it in full into middle and leg and got it all wrong. But the man in the screen there got it all right, and it didn't take much to do that. Just a little bit of bat on it, and that raced away.
49 from 59. Now, did he get a little edge? Well, that'll be 50. We'll just see. Is that a leg by, or is that's Michael Clark's 50?
Roll Smythe there between the batsman and the umpire. Pretty clear inside edge there. Well played, Michael Clark. 50 runs. He's been so impressive in this series.
There is the shorter side. And it's 4. Scrambling dive down there by Martin. Wasn't quite enough. Slower ball. Down the ground. 4. End of the over. 11 from the Orams over. 235 for 5.
It's been great to see him really come on in his career. And Michael Clark, well, he's coming on in leaps and bounds. He was dropped. He had the disappointment of being dropped from the Test side only a matter of weeks ago, and he's coming back, and his name is back up in lights again.
That's a superb shot, and that's one of his preferred areas for hitting. I think New Zealand have seized onto that fact, but that's just putting one right.
That one is gone high. It's hard. It's in the stands. Mike Hussey, well, there's an example. He doesn't hold back. He plays all his shots. He doesn't miss out too often. It's 248 for 5. One up. Absolutely in the slot, but it was line again, outside off stump. Michael Clark, there's nothing wrong with his cover drive. That's a juicy half volley. It's the line that's horribly wrong.
Yeah, and it's the length too, to a certain extent, because he just is able to hit the ball and get the ball under the ball, get some elevation. It's only a foot or two in it, but you're talking about almost perfection here.
Is that going to... Oh, he's dropped it. He's put it down. I think it's Vincent. It is Lou Vincent. Well, he knew he was bang right back on the rope. Didn't have a lot of room to move, but the ball was in and then very quickly came out. 259 for 5.
Let's just have a look at this. Hussey, it's a low full toss, and Hussey does pretty well to get underneath it. Vincent's waiting. He doesn't have to move much. He just has to go up. In fact, he should have got that. You'd back Lou Vincent to get that most days of the week. He didn't have to jump that high. It was quite comfortable. He's a terrific fielder. And he just put it down.
Oh, that one straight to the fieldsman. That one's been taken. It was a flat-batted shot. Didn't get up very high at all. And the 6th wicket finally is grabbed by the Kiwis.
And Kyle Mills has got 3 catches. So they won't be hitting them to him too often at practice in the next few weeks, because he's got it under control. And it's a wide half volley, and Clark does well to reach it and time it that well, but Mills has been safe throughout the day. Clark is quite cross with himself. I think he probably thought 100 was on, but his effort has been a sterling one. He goes for 71. It's 259 for 6.
Cameron White is out there, his first batting opportunity in the Australian colours. He's been involved in a number of one-dayers now, but this is the first time he's been asked on to bat. Wow, what a catch! Oh, the skipper! Jeez, full length to the left and great.
And all of a sudden, 2 wide half volleys have worked the oracle for Chris Martin. First one taken in the deep by Mills, and yes, this is a great catch. Hunting in close for Tory. He wanted to put pressure on White, and he certainly did. Easy as you like. What are you worried about? What's the fuss about? No problem. Problem for White. A duck with his first bat. 259 for 7. He's bowling to Nathan Bracken. Australia 2:59 for 7. The fielder in close. There's a slip in place. The crowd are buoyed up. The tame ending.
He's bowled well. It's so welcome back. Been in the wilderness for the last 4 or 5 years. 99, 2000 was his last one-day international, where he bowled 7 on the trot. And this was the first one. The attempted hat-trick, and that was caught in the deep. And the second, a spectacular catch by Vettori. And as you said, Smithy, not the best balls he's ever bowled, the half volleys, but at this stage of the game, when the batsmen are trying to get under them, hit them over the rope, you're a chance.
Well, and the difference now with those 2 chances being held could be the difference between chasing 300 and chasing 280. I mean, he's just a wonderful cricketer, Daniel Vettori. He's worked so hard at other aspects of his game, but he hasn't neglected in the meantime his meat and drink, his bowling. That's got better too.
Bracken. Very strong. Try and get my drawer working there. Through that area. Over the top generally. But he can be along the ground hitting the gap. And he's very strong square on the onside. That's when he'll pick up singles, 2s if he places it right. And he's got a bit of a powerhouse hit with that one as well. A little bit like that. And that's just length. If he gets something short enough, he'll roll with it.
Well, that's not an easy shot to play, to be perfectly honest. It's a front foot pull shot almost. Down on one knee. That's a terrific blow. I mean, you do not expect this length of delivery to be hit there off the front foot.
Not every ball. He still favours the onside. That's the slog shot. That's the 6. That's the 50. Is it? No, he's one shy. 49 for Hussey. He's only faced the 44 deliveries. This consistency is phenomenal.
Well, it is. I mean, you just don't know where to bowl to the guy, but Chris Cairns is he's just making a mess of him at the moment. It's got to be said. That's a half volley. That's the length where you can just swing the bat under the ball and lift it high. So's that. And that is a magnificent half-century from Michael Hussey. Folks, that's as good as you'll see in this situation. Unbelievable batting. He's done it again. And it's 279 for 7.
Yeah, 19 off the over. What allowed Hussey to unleash was the first ball single from Bracken. Smart play. And then it's 18 runs off the bat of Hussey. Takes himself to another half-century.
Oh, that's brilliant batting. That is sensational batting. They've put all the men back on the onside, and Hussey has just worked it just wide of the man Oram in front of square. Mills didn't do a lot. He followed him. He just perhaps got the length wrong once again. And Hussey's just picked it out. Vettori's got to have a chat to Styris. They've got to try and work this out. And Vettori's coming inside the circle. He was down on the boundary. That's him heading across to the right. Styris going across to the left. But look, inside the circle on the onside, only Chris Cairns. Only Chris Cairns. I'll show you where he is. Otherwise, there's spots everywhere on that for 1. It's another 4. Sensational batting this. It's a treat to watch. An absolute treat to watch.
And that's that full face. That's the extra cover. A strong hitting zone. Low full toss. And you talk about bowling at the death, and you often in a team meeting it'll be said, well, if it's not a York, it'll be a low full toss and it's hard to get away. But he got it away. Finding the gaps. Well, this one should be out. Oh, it's gone for 6 again. Unbelievable from Hussey.
Mills has just left absolutely baffled because it's been brilliant batting, but that's short. It is short. It's the length you're talking about that he'll back himself to hit it over mid-wicket, and he did. And he did. He hit it. He didn't time it perfectly, but square boundary, short New Zealand, and he's got it well enough. A top edge for 6.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, that's 303 in the blink of an eye. I know New Zealand backed themselves as a good chasing side, but how often do you want to have to chase 300? And occasionally, wouldn't it not be nice from your bowler's point of view to have 300 on the board to bowl at?
The finisher, and Bracken, he wants a piece of the action as well. That one has nearly gone into the stand. That's 6 over cover. Very difficult shot to play, but he had that scope, we keep talking about it, of getting under the ball.
That's demoralising from a bowler. You can see it etched in Chris Martin's face. To be hit by Hussey is one thing. To be taken apart by Hussey is one thing. To be carved over the top of cover for 6 by Bracken, I'm sorry, that's totally different. Give him the opportunity to hit it there. And again, that's even better. And it's 6 more. Goodness me. Glenn McGrath, reach your heart out, son. 318 for 7.
This brings up the 50 partnership. Well, the last 6 did, to be honest with you, but that one was hit in pure fashion. Top order players enjoy playing those shots, but if you're a tail ender, you don't sleep at night thinking about it, reliving it. That's down the ground, and that's another 4, perfectly straight. That's that minimal risk that he'll play with. When you watch the replay, look at the bat, it's horizontal.
Daniel Vettori was, what, 26 or 27 when he started this series? But captaining these 3 games, he's now about 44. The burden of captaincy, and when you've bowled like a genius yourself. But New Zealand, that's 4 more. That's just absolutely bisected the 2 men back. That's razor sharp, nearly took Alim Dar out on the way, the umpire. It is dead straight. Protect this if you can.
Very rare to see a player straight down the ground with the consistency at the death. There's the extra cover he picks out, and single to finish the innings, 331.
And Michael Hussey gets 88. I mean, he got 88 in no time at all. It's just a fantastic display, and 56 balls. A crowd at Jade Stadium here should get to their feet, and they have, those that know the game, because they really have appreciated one of the very best closing one-day innings we've seen in this country. Early innings joy for New Zealand. Gilchrist and Katic gone. Some mid-innings misery, if you like, and then it was compounded by Hussey and Bracken at the end. 331 then, and 7 wickets they managed to get New Zealand. 50 overs of sensational batting. That's how you play one-day cricket, with blade in hand. New Zealand bowling attack, well, it was put to the sword. 1 for 64 Mills, 3 for 65 Martin, the wicket takers at the top, and Vettori and Styrus, they'll feel more than satisfied with their 3 wickets from 68 from 17 overs combined. Vettori is bowling better and better every day, it seems. The target for New Zealand, 332 to win the match at 6.64. It is a daunting task. If they get them, good luck to them.